There's a lot of talk about a recession. Every day in the news you hear about large corporations laying off thousands of employees. If you're an immigrant, will a recession impact your visa or green card? That's what we'll be talking about in today's video. Welcome everyone to another exciting video on the Ray Law International channel. I'm your host, Anthony Ray, and thank you for joining us. Is there a recession coming? Well, it's really hard to say. I really do think there's a lot of indications out there that a recession is looming. For example, there's a lot of companies laying off people in various industries. Amazon, IT, now even the financial companies are looking to reduce their staff as they prepare for what they perceive is a recession coming. Those industries greatly impacted by a recession are generally the arts, entertainment, and also recreation industries. Let me know what's going on in your company. Is your company reducing staff or freezing salaries? Let us know in the comments below. The next one is, how does a recession impact non-immigrant visa holders? These are temporary workers who are coming to the United States to work. Most of these jobs require a U.S. employer to sponsor them. Well, if a U.S. employer is laying off individuals and they lay off foreign nationals who are visa holders, well, they'll go out of status. Now, some people, they need to leave right away and return to their country, while some other non-immigrant visa holders will have a grace period. Certain non-immigrant visas will have what's called a 60-day grace period for them to find a new employer. But let's be realistic. 60 days is not enough in order to find a new job. You really need 90 to 180 days to really find a new employer, especially for professionals, and especially in the situation of a recession. Does a recession impact immigrant visa holders, or more specifically, those in the process of getting their green card or immigrant visa abroad? Now, there are two categories, the family base and employment base. Under the family base, the problem arises when the sponsor or the petitioner of the immigrant petition loses his or her job and does not meet the requirements for the affidavit of support. So that could undermine the actual green card application. So there's a couple things that you can do. The sponsor could find another job, which is probably the easiest thing, but in a recession, it may be tough. The second thing that they can do is they can use their assets. So if they have sufficient assets in order to meet the financial requirements, they can rely on those. Now, if they can't find a job and they don't have assets, then another option is to rely on what's called a co-sponsor. This is an individual who is not the petitioner or the sponsor. It's an individual that comes along and obligates himself to be the co-sponsor. Now, under the employment-based category, it's very important because if the employer starts cutting back or laying off individuals, depending on where you're at in the process, this may negatively impact your actual green card application. Now, if your employer is actively laying off individuals in the same or similar position, this may impact your green card case, depending on where you are at in the process. So you want to be careful and pay attention to what's going on in your organization. The most likely people impacted are those who are filing under the EB2 or EB3 category. Check out our other videos for more information on the EB2 and EB3 process. And here's some final thoughts. The first is, pay attention to the industry and the actions taken by your company. Don't take them lightly. If they are reducing staff in your section, or it looks likely that they're going to cut back or freeze hiring, you want to be aware of that. Talk to your manager, talk to your coworkers. Don't ignore the obvious signs. Now, the second advice is, if possible, talk to your employer. See if your employer, whether big or small, has the ability to weather a recession, whether short or long. If your employer is open and willing to discuss that with you, then that will give you some peace of mind. Make sure you have a backup. If there are indications that your job or your industry is going to be impacted by a recession, look at alternatives. Look at other employment or employers who may not be impacted by a recession. So these are a few things that you can do in order to prepare yourself and be ready in case we do end up in a recession. Nos vemos la próxima vez. それでは次のビデオでお会いしましょう。 Until next time, stay informed, stay educated, and stay on the right immigration path. See ya.